consider David's definition of art, and we ask ourselves, assuming we are in some fashion artists in training, then there's some process necessary to get from where we are to where it is that we want to be. Someone once said that success in life is 10% inspiration and 90% perspiration. I think that's probably fairly accurate. I'm going to suggest, as I'm talking about work ethic, that there is no such thing as a sacred secular divide. We tend to think of the things that God is interested in is our prayer, our Bible reading, perhaps a limited scope of our personal morality, whether we share the gospel, whether we do deeds of mercy and the like, that those are the religious or Christian things, and the things like, do I go to class or blow it off? Do I practice or not? Do I help my wife clean up after dinner or blow it off? That those are rather mundane, secular, and not of concern to God. I'm going to suggest that that's kind of bunk, that all of life is sacramental in the large sense, that God is in charge of it all. In other words, I'm not simply serving God when I pray or when I read the Bible or when I do a deed of mercy. When I teach a course, I'm certainly not trying to teach it for the devil. I'm teaching it for the Lord. When I help my wife, I'm not just doing that, I hope, for my wife or for myself, but because I love Jesus and I'm supposed to do that. I'm going to suggest then that if God is in this thing called being a student at any level, that his calling for you, or in essence what you're doing for God, is to be a student. Now you'll hear some fairly loud voices asking you, what are you doing for God? And that can often mean, what outside of the things that you've paid, how much, $30,000 a year to study, are you doing for God? And I think, while certainly God has an interest in us not being totally self-absorbed, I don't think that for a short period of time it's bad for us to think that God's calling on us is to be a student. Let me submit that if that's true, then we ought to aim for mastery rather than mere acquaintance. That being faithful to both the monetary outlay, being faithful to the development of the talents that he's given to you, means that the aim should be mastery and not just, how can I get through this next test? I'm going to suggest that you earnestly ask your private teacher two things. How long do you expect me to practice in a day and in a week? And then, how can I best accomplish that? What should I do? How do I listen? And to what should I listen? Now that said, music makes a wonderful servant, but it makes a dreadful master. And many of us who went to conservatories have found that that our teachers prompted us to make an idol out of music. That is, if we performed well in a lesson, in a recital, in a concert, then we were great and they liked us. And if we performed badly, then they couldn't tolerate us. David and I share stories about this almost weekly from prior times in our lives. I'm suggesting that that's a bad thing. Don't make an idol of music. We're not in much danger of that here. Rather, I think that the danger that we're in, on balance, is a danger of taking the good thing of our relationships and making an idol of those. And I'm going to leave you with a quote from a new book that my daughter got me for my birthday by Tim Keller called Counterfeit Gods. This quote has been rocking my world since I read it 2 weeks ago. I shared it with the faculty last week and I share it for you today. A counterfeit God is anything so central and essential to your life that should you lose it, your life would feel hardly worth living. An idol has such a controlling position in your heart that you can spend most of your passion and energy, your emotional and financial resources on it without a second thought. It can be family or children, or career and money making, or achievement and critical acclaim, or saving face and social standing. It can be a romantic relationship, peer approval, competence and skill, secure and comfortable circumstances, your beauty or your brains, a great political or social cause, your morality and virtue, or even success in the Christian ministry. When your meaning in life is to fix someone else's life, we may call it codependency, but it's really idolatry. An idol is whatever you look at and say in your heart of hearts, if I have that, then I'll feel my life has meaning. Then I'll know I have value, and then I'll feel significant and secure. There are many ways to describe that kind of relationship to something, but perhaps the best one is worship. Thank you.